Hello families, faculty, and students, and welcome to the Wakefield Memorial High School graduation ceremony of the class of 2020. My name is Winifred Milan, and I am the senior class treasurer in today's Master of Ceremonies for this important milestone. For the past 3 years, I've had the amazing opportunity to serve as a class officer for the individuals who will walk across the stage later today. As both the student and leader, I take an immense amount of pride in being a member of this grade. Despite the unfortunate circumstances that have taken away the end of our final year here at Wakefield, we have only learned more about ourselves. These circumstances have upset us, challenged us, but most importantly, reminded us who we are, resilient and strong. We will take what we have learned from this experience and walk a bit taller into the next phase of our lives. Each and every one of us is an incredible individual with many achievements to be proud of today. As we go forward from WMHS and into our next endeavors, we must take a moment to remember that we are all a part of the class of 2020. Not only have we finished 12 years of our academic journeys, but have also endured a worldwide pandemic and come out the other side. We have accomplished something that no grade has done before. Though we're the class with vision, we definitely did not see this coming. However, here we are at the finish line. Congratulations to the class of 2020. At this time, I would like to start off the ceremony by introducing Student Council President Hope Melanson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I am excited to introduce the class of 2020's Senior Class President, Olivia Lucy, for some welcoming words.
Hello and welcome to the graduation of the class of 2020. On behalf of the class, I would like to thank Principal McLeod, Superintendent Lyons, teachers, and administration for their support and guidance over the past 4 years. To our class advisors, Mrs. Haggerty and Mr. Robinson, we are so grateful for all the time and effort that you have given our class. I also want to extend gratitude to family and friends of the class of 2020 for their commitment to celebrating our class over a high school career, and especially during these past few months. Most importantly, I would like to thank my classmates for coming together and making these past 4 years unforgettable. Today, we celebrate 12 years of resilience, dedication, passion, hard work, and ambition, all the qualities that have contributed to the successes and failures that made us the people we are today. The students of this class participated in sports, band, theater, arts, and diverse clubs. They have won their leagues, triumphed in band competitions, and succeeded in award-winning theater programs and art exhibits. We have celebrated our successes and struggled together to face our challenges. All of you should be extremely proud of yourselves and your classmates. Through it all, the class of 2020 has united and made the most of every situation that presented itself. Whether it was miraculously pulling off senior show when rehearsal the night before could only be described as a hot mess, or always having an enthusiastic Red Sea despite the controversies that came with picking the themes, or creating a new event to recognize all the fall athletes. No matter the circumstance, we made it happen and enjoyed doing it together. As a class, we have embodied what it means to be a Wakefield warrior. We created an atmosphere in the school and town that showed our pride in being a warrior. We supported each other at events, performances, and in the classroom whenever and wherever a classmate needed help. Our pride manifested itself in many ways, and there was a universal participation in activities from every member of the senior class. A highlight of this was Spirit Week, organized by the Student Council. The high school halls have never seen so many Hawaiian shirts than they did on Tropical Tuesday, thanks to our lively class. Our spirit is an example for remaining classes to follow, and I am proud that we leave our school with a positive legacy. I hope that our class will not focus exclusively on the last 3 months, but instead will take pride and hold positive memories from the first 3.5 years that helped shape our lives. Those are the ones that truly molded us, and are when we made some of our best memories and friends. We may have lost a few weeks being in the building, but in total, we have gained so much together, including a greater appreciation for one another than ever before. Although we will be remembered as the COVID class, we are so much more than that. We are the class that persevered in unique circumstances and found ways to celebrate and recognize each other in new and creative ways. I don't think this class will be forgotten for many years. It is clear that our class is full of talented, caring, intelligent, and determined leaders. We have all learned from each other and built up the characteristics we'll need to make a difference in the world. As all of us begin our next challenges beyond high school, I have no doubt that this class is going to shape this world in new and innovative ways. This class's record of accomplishments is an indicator of bright potential and possibility in the future. We have only scratched the surface of what we are capable of doing. No matter where our lives take us, I am confident that the class of 2020 will be fondly remembered at our school and in this town. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2020.
Our school committee chairwoman, Mrs. Amy Purcell, is here to speak on the behalf of the school committee. Please give a warm welcome to Mrs. Amy Purcell.
Family, administration, faculty, and the graduates of the Wakefield Memorial High School class of 2020, welcome. I wrote this speech way back in November, long before any of us could have imagined how the school year would come to a close. I figured I'd have to write a new one, but then I realized it's actually still relevant. Minus a few tweaks, I decided to keep it, so here it is. As school committee members, we work tremendously hard at our meetings and behind the scenes to ensure that all students at Wakefield Public succeed. At every meeting as chair, I read our mission statement. I won't read the entire statement, but I would like to share one very important sentence. It reads in part, "The vision of the Wakefield Public Schools is to graduate students who are confident lifelong learners." Confident lifelong learners. What exactly does that mean? These are a few of my thoughts. As you stand here today, you have successfully accomplished 12 years of learning. And I know many of you may think, yes, and that was a long 12 years. But honestly, this is just the beginning. Today is one of those extremely exciting days in your life. I can tell you moments like this will happen a lot as you continue down your path in life. Exciting moments like graduating from college, getting that dream job you worked so hard for, or buying that shiny new car. All wonderful, exciting moments. I want you to remember those moments in real time. Acknowledge the moments. Learn from the moments. Put a little piece of those exciting moments in your heart and move forward down your path. However, as you travel down this path, you will also unfortunately experience some not so great moments. Moments that may be challenging for you. And trust me, I know how much you can all relate to this because of this unprecedented time. But it's really important to acknowledge those moments too. Learn from them. Put a little piece of them in your heart, but move forward down your path. Because I promise you, moments both good or bad, you will have them. But if you learn from them, they will make you stronger, a more confident lifelong learner. Lastly, today you are surrounded by people who are so profoundly proud of you. Family, friends, teachers. But as you celebrate your day with all these people who love you, I would like to ask for one small favor. At some point today, when you have a quiet moment alone, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, "Congratulations, I'm proud of you," because you really should be. This has been a tremendous honor of mine, a moment I intend to hold in my heart. Thank you so much, and congratulations, class of 2020.
The Superintendent of Schools is devoted to the community of students and staff at Wakefield. Please help me welcome to the podium Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Doug Lyons.
Hello, my name is Doug Lyons, and I have the distinct privilege to be the Superintendent of the Wakefield Public Schools. Congratulations to the graduates of the class of 2020. You have all had a very challenging spring. The pandemic and subsequent school closure ended your school year on March 12th. You have had to manage the separation from friends, teachers, coaches, and school activities. This is certainly not the way we thought we would be celebrating your graduation, and this is certainly not the graduation that you deserve. Through all of the changes this spring, you have demonstrated remarkable kindness and care for your families, and especially for one another. And for that, we want to thank you. You have also gone through a series of firsts. You are the first class since 1918 to experience a pandemic, the first class to complete more than a quarter of the school year learning remotely, and finally the first class to have a rolling rally, a car parade to beat all of the car parades that we had this spring. I think the participation and turnout of students and families along the parade route was a testament to how much the community supports you and loves you. As it was highlighted during the graduation ceremonies at Landrigan by student leaders, due to all that the class has been through, you are stronger and more resilient. I agree. You are strong and resilient. And as you move on, you will need to continue to be so. As you move on to college, the military, to work, you will need to continue to grow and develop these skills to keep yourself safe and to adapt to new challenges ahead. While the need to keep yourself physically safe and healthy will be part of whatever comes next for you, you will also need to continue to develop the ability to be more self-aware and to take the perspective of others. This was highlighted in our social-emotional competencies that we use in our wellness curriculum. The ability to take other perspectives, to empathize, to appreciate diversity, and to respect others are critical skills you will need to be members of your new communities wherever you go. And these are certainly skills that you will need to be future leaders of our community and of our country. Again, congratulations to you all. We're very, very proud of you. And remember, wherever you go, Wakefield is your home. Please keep in touch with your teachers and your principals and let us know how you are doing. From all of the administrators in the district, be well, be safe, and make good decisions. Thank you all.
For the past 2 years, Ms. McLeod has been driven and dedicated to her work. Despite being a new face, Wakefield has welcomed her into our community with open arms. It is now my pleasure to introduce the principal of Wakefield Memorial High School, Ms. McLeod.
School committee members, administration, faculty, staff, parents, and graduates of the class of 2020. This year has challenged our traditional notions of what graduation could be, but we are so lucky to have an incredible team of people who stepped up, worked together, and figured out a way to honor the class of 2020. I would like to thank everyone who helped graduation come together: the WMHS administration and administrative assistants, the WPS administration and school committee, the custodial staff, the senior class advisors, the senior class officers, Mr. Brennan, Mrs. Giannotti, and Ms. Morell, the WCAT staff, the senior events working group, and finally, the senior homeroom teachers. Without the efforts of all of these people, this unique ceremony would never have come together. Graduates, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed your final year in the Wakefield Public Schools in such significant and profound ways that could not have been predicted. Who knew your last classes would end with Zoom conferences? Who knew there wouldn't be a senior skip day since we were already at home every school day? Who knew that many of the senior week activities would have to be virtual or done with social distancing? And senior prank? It seems that the prank has been on all of us. As much as you were looking forward to celebrating, we were also looking forward to watching you enjoy these milestones and traditions to mark the end of your high school careers. These celebrations have morphed into new and different types of events that will certainly mark the moment, but will not at all be the same. Even though there is nothing that any of us could have done to prevent this situation, I want you to know that I am truly sorry that this has impacted your senior year in such drastic ways. I know, as a parent and as a principal, that this has been a challenging, emotional, and draining experience for everyone. I hope you also know that the entire school community, administrators, teachers, parents, and fellow students have done our best to rally around you and support you and all of the students at Wakefield High during this challenging time. It seems that 2020, the year you will remember as the year you graduated high school, has also become the year of many struggles. While we have been trying to stay home, social distance, and prevent the spread of COVID-19, our country has been rocked by the killing of George Floyd and a growing movement to demand much-needed changes in terms of racial equality and justice. As a young adult moving into the world on your own, you must have a voice in the civil discourse that is taking place around these issues. Boomers, my own Generation X, and even millennials have failed thus far in making enough significant strides to end the struggles with social justice and equal opportunities. Generations after the civil rights movement, we are still arguing and struggling with these issues and combating racial disparity throughout our country. But I have hope that you, your voices, and your Generation Z will be the leaders and the guides to navigate our country towards sustainable change in policies, practices, and everyday life that will help eradicate racism and will make systemic racism and social injustice concepts of the past that we learn about in history but never repeat again. As former President Obama said in a recent article, these past few months have been hard and dispiriting, that the fear, sorrow, uncertainty, and hardship of a pandemic have been compounded by tragic reminders that prejudice and inequality still shape so much of American life. But watching the heightened activism of young people in recent weeks, of every race and every station, makes me hopeful. Graduates, you and your peers in the response to the struggles we have endured over the past few months have shown us that you are the hope and can bring the change we need to make our country a better place where all people are treated with fairness, respect, and dignity. And while 2020 is a year that seems to be cursed with challenging and difficult events, there are always silver linings. For the class of 2020, your high school experience is forever changed, but there are a few things that even a global pandemic or a country filled with unrest and tension cannot take away from you. The lessons and knowledge you gain through your years of learning in the Wakefield Public Schools, not only in the classroom, but through your interactions and exchanges with students and adults. The friendships and connections you made to your classmates, your teammates, your bandmates, and the adults who touched your lives. The memories that have been etched in your minds forever, from playoffs on the courts and successful competitions on stages and fields, to weekends with friends and nights hanging out at the Galv. The attributes you gained by going through this experience: resilience, humility, sacrifice, the prioritization of what's most important, and a strength most of you never knew you had. The fact that you finished this year in an unprecedented way and are still on track for the next steps of your life: college, career, military, or a move across the country to explore a whole new future. The excitement, success, and pride you feel getting your diploma, hearing these speeches, and knowing that you have successfully completed high school. The class of 2020 will forever be shaped by this experience. You will be one of the strongest and most memorable classes that WMHS has seen or will see in a long time. And while so much has been taken away from you, I hope you will be able to take with you what you have learned with us and from us to incorporate into your future lives. Congratulations, class of 2020, and may you forever be warrior strong.
I am unwritten, can't read my mind, I'm undefined.
I'm just beginning, the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned.
Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Put yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is words on your lips. Put yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Put yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today's where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten.
Each year, the class essayist is nominated and selected by the faculty of Wakefield High to present a keynote address to their peers on graduation day. This year's essayist is an outgoing and extremely talented individual. It is my pleasure to introduce the class of 2020's essayist, Ian Skirmahorn.
Coronavirus. All right, now that I got that out of the way, I think I can give a speech to you guys. This is obviously not the way I'd like to deliver this speech. I'd much rather be able to see all of you before me. However, the fact that you'll all be hearing this one way or another is enough for me to remember it's all worth it. Boy, have we had a year. I miss you guys a lot, but I think it's less important to focus on just this past year, and far more important to focus on the times we've had the past 4 years as a class together. When we all came into this high school 4 years ago, I don't know about you, but I felt no sense of class identity. I was a kid, making my way through unfamiliar halls, hanging with my bubble and my own circle of friends. I didn't go to a single football game, a single basketball game, none of it. If it makes any sense, there was no class of 2020 to me. It was a group of students who had one thing in common, an eventual year of graduation. At that time, it felt like we were nothing more than a collection of friend groups all making their way through life independently. But why would I care? I had my friend group, I had my support system. What more could I need? In sophomore year, I realized maybe it's not so bad if I have more friends outside of my one single group. What partially drove this was joining the cross-country and indoor track teams and spending my second year on the tennis team. There were many different kinds of people from so many different friends groups that I had previously thought so isolated by invisible boundaries. It was in sophomore year that I began to realize that it didn't matter what group you came from. Whether you were popular or artsy or any other stupid high school movie trope, you had other labels too. We have more in common, we always have, than our year of graduation. Win or lose, we cheer for the same team. We go through different struggles, but we feel the same way when we go through them. We lift each other up, despite what stupid labels we may have plastered on us. I went through one of those struggles when I lost my little friend group, when I lost my label. It sucked, to be honest, not knowing who I could talk to, what to do, where to go. But help came from places I hadn't expected it to, from people I didn't know, people I hadn't been friends with before, people of the class of 2020. Not just a graduating year to me, not anymore. An identity, a label in itself. For a while, I struggled with not having that specific group, not having one identity that I could subscribe to, not being able to call myself the musical kid or the funny kid or the smart kid. But it wasn't until this year that I fully realized that I didn't need to worry about any of that. From participating in the Swiss exchange and becoming friends with people I never thought I would speak to 4 years ago, to participating in senior show and doing more of the same. I realized that the group of us have far more in common than we initially thought. For example, now we all have cool matching hats. But in addition to that, we have all triumphed. We have all struggled. Our struggles and successes may be unique, but what is ubiquitous is that you can turn to someone from the class of 2020, friend or not, and they will be able to congratulate you or get you back on your feet, or just be someone to hang with. It doesn't matter what certain kind of person you think they are. You probably have much more in common with them than you may realize. It was this year that I realized I don't need to be a certain kind of person. I can take on any identity that I see fit, and people seem to like that. I think I do too. However, the one identity that I am proud of, that I will never let go of, and the one that I encourage all of you to hold on to as well, is Wakefield Memorial High School, class of 2020 graduate. Thank you all for being my friends, and thank you for helping me enjoy these past few years. I'm sorry I can't be with you to tell you how much you all mean to me. Good luck to all of you, and I know that you can succeed at whatever it is that you would like to do.
It is traditional to hear speeches from the highest academic achieving students on graduation day. The Salutatorian is a student with the second highest cumulative grade point average in the class. This is an achievement that is very rare in and of itself, yet even rarer for two students to achieve. The class of 2020 never fails to surprise and is the first in all of Wakefield High history to have two Salutarians. I am honored to introduce the first Salutarian, Mitra Patel.
Greetings, friends, teachers, administration, and the families of the class of 2020. When it was time to write this speech, I had no idea where to begin. There was no structure of what needed to be said, and so there were countless routes I could have chosen. I decided to head over to the most credible and trustworthy educational tool, UrbanDictionary.com, to look up the definition of salutatorian. I came across a very accurate definition. Salutatorian is the person that just missed being valedictorian by a few GPA points. A very miserable person indeed. Second place is the first loser. After a moment of laughter, I came to a realization. While second place is the first loser may sound cliche, the class of 2020 has been hearing a lot of cliche sayings lately. We'll get through this together. Or, this is one for the history books. And of course, tough times don't last, tough people do, to name a few. However, there's some truth to all cliches, and that's why they last. Everybody is a winner. Well, that's another popular cliche. Everybody graduating today is valedictorian and salutatorian in their own ways. Most of us, if not all, had certain goals in mind when coming into high school, and many of these goals were met. Some of us may have wanted to be the captain of the basketball team, join a new club, and step out of our comfort zone, make a new friend, take an AP class, get on the honor roll, or even get a job and learn to time manage. Some of these goals seem small, but every goal achieved is an accomplishment and should be honored. That is why today is a day to honor everybody's distinctions as a whole. Success is not comparable, it is personal. It is not realistic or appropriate to compare and contrast what you have and haven't accomplished with your peers. Everyone has their own victories, all important for their own reasons, that we can all celebrate together as a class. Oftentimes, we accomplish goals that seem unreachable, but success, to borrow from yet another cliche, comes knocking at your door at the strangest times. I want to tell you a story from 5th grade. I remember Mr. O'Terry handed back a social studies test that we had taken a couple days before. As he was handing the test back, he said the highest grade was a 96 and the lowest was a 49. I saw jaws drop around my class as students began receiving their grades. The student with the 96 celebrated, and any hope I had of receiving the highest grade was gone. Then it was my turn. I flipped the test over, only to see that I was now the proud owner of that 49, the lowest grade in the class. How was I ever going to get through high school if I failed a simple test in 5th grade? I remember going home discouraged that day, but then, after speaking with my mother, I realized that this one grade did not define who I was. She reassured me that I would get the grades I wanted if I was patient and put in the work. Success is not always readily apparent, and that is why we often overlook all that we have accomplished. Think of all the times you told yourself you wanted to do something but had doubts. All those times you were on the fence. All those times you weren't sure you were making the right decision. We have made many decisions, right and wrong. After wrong decisions, we, as the cliche goes, got up and brushed ourselves off and tried again. We learned what not to do in the future. But we've also made many great decisions. We earned distinctions and succeeded in ways we may not even be aware of. For example, you may have complimented someone and made their day without even realizing. Your impact may not always be apparent, but it is there. And that is why we are all gathered here today, in spirit, to recognize the little victories in life that have fueled our ongoing journey. Many say graduating from high school is the closing of one door and the opening of another. I like to view it as a symbolic event that we will always remember that marks the continuation of our lives. Yes, we will no longer be attending the K-12 public school system, but the friends we've made, the memories we've created, and the knowledge we have attained will remain with us for the rest of our lives. Many of us will be heading to college. Others will go to trade school. Some are headed to serve the country, and others are heading right into the workforce. Whatever decision we have made is a clear example of us achieving our goals. We've had dreams ever since we were toddlers and about what we will do when we are older. And now that time is here. We are all pursuing our dreams together, even though our paths are different. Let's take today and our graduation, which is anything but cliche, to celebrate. Let's take each and every day to celebrate every goal accomplished, every little victory, every joyful moment. And remember, like they say, even when a pandemic gets thrown in our path, the show must go on.
Now we will hear from our second salutatorian, Emily Pudva.
For these past 4 years, we have lived for Friday nights. In the fall, no matter rain, snow, or shine, we sat under the lights watching the football games. I've been to basically every football game since freshman year, even though there were weeks when all I wanted to do was be at home with friends instead of the game. I'm glad I was able to experience it all. Our grade has come a long way, from the back of the bleachers all the way to the front. You all have stepped up, becoming leaders for the Red Sea, screaming chants, picking themes, and providing support for the sports teams. Football, basketball, hockey, soccer, you name it, and there was some form of the Red Sea present to cheer our classmates on. Without even knowing it, we became role models for the underclassmen, providing someone to look up to and remember when they need help. Without even knowing it, we became closer as a grade, making our own Red Seas, resulting from the small, intimate cheering sections made to aid and encourage each other. And without even knowing it, we celebrated the end of our in-school senior year. We were able to make so many memories with so many more to come. Our departure from the building was abrupt, but through all of the tears shed time after time when our school year was made shorter, something was revealed. We actually missed it all. Even though there were so many nights spent studying until the sun rose, and many early mornings when we hit snooze a few too many times, we actually missed being together. Life is so unpredictable, making the only thing that can be certain is the fact that there are going to be many challenges. We all survived this big challenge and emerged stronger. We learned patience, dealt with heartbreak, and allowed ourselves time to rest. In the end, we have come out with a better appreciation for the bonds we have in our lives, from friends to family and everyone in between. We have come out with a promise to live life to its fullest while we can. Everyone says you never know how great something is until you lose it. My great has been making memories with all of you. I hope in the future you find your own Red Seas like the one we have here. It is so important to find yourself people who will be your support systems always. For us, the Red Sea has acted as a source of encouragement for the sports teams here. Your own friend groups even act as mini Red Seas, helping you to strive to be your best self, celebrating successes along the way. Friends and family, another kind of Red Sea, will be there to help one another and comfort each other through the toughest of times. As the sermon comes to a close, I want to thank the parents for the love that they have shown us, as it shines through in our education and the life we have. We have an amazing community that is willing to do anything for us in both happy and sad times. Our families, our friends, and the members of this community have been our support systems, helping us cope with the ups and downs life throws at us. I want to thank the teachers for motivating us to step outside our comfort zone and making us learn more about ourselves and the people around us. We may have resisted you when you made us work with people other than our friends, but doing so made us learn more about one another. And finally, I want to thank my fellow classmates for providing me and everyone else an unforgettable high school experience, complete with memories, laughs, and a very large Red Sea family. Congratulations to the class of 2020.
The class valedictorian is the student with the highest cumulative grade point average in the class. Over these past 4 years, this individual has demonstrated the perfect balance of academic and extracurriculars. I am extremely honored to present the class of 2020's valedictorian, Basha Halowenchuk.
Before I begin, I would like to thank everyone who made it possible for us to be here. To the teachers who are willing to stay after class just to help ease our confusion on this simple topic. To the friends who were by our side during the best and worst times over the last 4 years. To the coaches who let us learn that we truly can do more than we think we are capable of after pushing us past what we thought were our limits. To the school staff who made sure we could learn in a clean building with food in our stomachs. And most importantly, thank you to the families who have listened to everything from our complaints about senior life to our joys of passing a difficult test. I struggled writing this speech because I can't say what everyone really wants to hear. What we would all want to hear is that we can go back to March 13th and experience our last sports games, our last concerts, our last tardies after running down from J-Lot at 7:26, and our last class with people who we have shared classes with for the last 12 years. I know that there is nothing I can say that would give us back what we deserve to have. Over the last 4 years, I would say with absolute certainty that all of us have mastered the skill of procrastination. That's why, 26 hours before this speech was supposed to be done, I was fixing a broken patio umbrella. Fixing it was yet another thing I procrastinated on, yet somehow fixing a patio umbrella seemed more appealing than trying to find the words to bid farewell to a school that we don't really have the chance to say goodbye to. The crank that used to open the umbrella just didn't work anymore. There was a piece of string hanging out of a crevice of the umbrella that I didn't even know existed, and even Thor wouldn't have had the strength to pull out that string. It seemed like everything that possibly could go wrong with the umbrella did, much like how many of us feel about our senior year. Yet, as I stared down the umbrella, I was reminded of how I felt freshman year. This massive umbrella that glared back at me inspired the same feeling of intimidation as running up the bleachers at football games as fast as possible just to escape the gaze of the seniors that towered over us. The feeling of not even knowing where to begin my repair efforts reminded me of trying to navigate the halls of Wakefield High School that we could now walk blindfolded. Freshman year was the year of embarrassing memories developed as a result of having no clue where to begin to find our place in high school, while making decisions that would ultimately contribute to how we would define ourselves during high school. Do I join the soccer or swim team? Do I sit at a circle table or a long table at lunch? I felt a similar embarrassment over having no clue where to begin with the umbrella. I decided to tackle fixing the umbrella doing what high school has taught me to do best, searching Google and YouTube. Only my YouTube search history knows the extent that Crash Course videos saved me before a test. And my Google search history would certainly be surprised I'm giving this speech, knowing I Googled what is an atom before every single chemistry test. Chemistry is certainly what I associate sophomore year with. Both chemistry and sophomore year felt unnecessarily difficult at the same time, and both seemed to offer a little reward. Yet somehow both proved to be the much-needed transition between simple, like how I thought fixing the umbrella would go, and seemingly impossible, which is how fixing the umbrella actually went. I discovered the key to fixing the umbrella was in the pulley system, and I instantly had flashbacks to physics and junior year. Junior year was the year that the happiness of knowing what to do met with the stress of knowing what I had to do. The year where 16-year-olds were supposed to balance more schoolwork than ever, more outside relationships than ever, more complex friendships than ever, and somehow figure out what they wanted to do for the rest of their lives. But somehow, the stress of junior year seemed to be worth the good memories of dancing to Old Town Road at prom and having the freedom to drive down the highway in the summertime. I thought once I figured out the answer to the umbrella's pulley system, everything else would fall into place and I could just sit back and relax. Not unlike how I thought senior year was supposed to be the reward for 12 years of hard work and the culmination of finally having some of the answers to who you were and who you wanted to be. Senior year, like that patio umbrella, was quick to humble me. During senior year, new obstacles like flat tires and college rejections kept popping up at every turn. But I was motivated by the thought of finally celebrating at the end. But the celebration never came. No matter how hard I tried, the patio umbrella couldn't be fixed, so I couldn't celebrate success at the end of a hard road, because in that case, there was no success. What feels worse is that our celebration at the end of high school didn't happen, not because we didn't succeed, but because that celebration was unfairly taken from us. We did everything right for 12 years, powering through the tough times when giving up seemed easier than continuing, and yet we don't get to celebrate in the manner we envisioned for so long. The lack of that anticipated traditional celebration hurts, but it's a bittersweet reminder that this is only the end of high school. There will be plenty of opportunities to celebrate along the way as we all accomplish our ultimate goals. When we graduate from college, or when we get our first real jobs, or when we travel to make up for the senior trips that were canceled this year, or when we make so many new memories that the feeling of sadness in regards to not being able to properly celebrate our graduation will be small compared to the great feeling of constantly celebrating each new chapter of our lives. I figured out a way to make the best of a bad situation that was a broken and unfixable patio umbrella, using a bit of creativity and a lawn chair. Everyone who has work to ensure we have some type of graduation ceremony, even if it isn't the traditional one that we deserve, has applied that same type of creativity to this bad situation. As we all get ready to begin different chapters of our lives that will take us in every direction, I ask that you remember, graduating from high school is just the beginning. Begin your life's journey by taking inspiration from how others have managed to find solutions to seemingly impossible problems, whether it be fixing a patio umbrella or having some form of graduation ceremony, to finding solutions to some of society's seemingly impossible problems.
It is also tradition at Wakefield High School for the graduating class to pass on their leadership title to the junior class with the symbolic key. It is my pleasure to now present Senior Class Vice President Catherine Pearl to pass on the key to Junior Class President Elizabeth Sheridan, who will accept the token on behalf of the junior class.
I would first like to thank everyone for coming together today to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2020. We can all agree that our circumstances this year are unique, but they have shown the true character of our class. Despite the challenges we have encountered, we have handled the situation with grace, perseverance, and hope. I am extremely thankful to have been given the honor to represent this class, and I am proud of the individuals we've become. 4 years ago, we came into high school as kids, unaware of the experiences we had ahead of us. Today, we leave together as young adults entering into the next stage of our lives with endless possibilities ahead. New experiences and new beginnings may be scary, but I have no doubt that life has amazing things in store for all of us. It is my honor to represent our class in handing over this key to the junior class president, Elizabeth Sheridan. Elizabeth, I would first like to acknowledge what you and your fellow class officers have accomplished over the past 3 years. Your hard work and dedication to your class does not go unnoticed. I am extremely confident that you will exceed any expectations given as you receive this key. After going through my senior year of high school, well, half of it, I would like to offer you a few pieces of advice that I believe speak for our class. First, I encourage you to enjoy every moment you are given. Be excited to come to school. Be excited to see your teachers. Be excited to be a part of this community. Second, I challenge you to step out of your comfort zone. You should walk out of this school on your last day and feel no regrets. Try something new, join a club, speak up for what you believe in. You never know the things you can do until you put yourself out there and try. My last piece of advice for you would be to push yourself. Push yourself in your classes, push yourself in the band room, push yourself on the field or on the court. Challenge your limits and allow yourself to grow. Stay focused, stay determined, and work hard to reach your goals. I have no doubt in your class's ability to make the most of your last year together. I wish you luck, and I cannot wait to see the great things you will accomplish. To conclude, I would like to say thank you to the people who have guided us through this journey. To the teachers and coaches, thank you for being such great mentors and for working so hard to allow us to not only grow as students, but more importantly, people. I hope you know the true impact you have made on our lives, and I cannot thank you enough. Next, I would like to thank our administration and guidance department. You see us as people before students. You go out of your way to make connections with each student, and you set us up for the next chapter of our lives. I cannot express the gratitude I have for everything you have done for us. Lastly, to the class of 2020, thank you. I thank you for the memories we have made. I thank you for being such a unique class. I thank you for making this place feel like home. I wholeheartedly believe the class I wish was sitting in front of me is special. I believe we have the ability to make change in the world. I believe we will do great things, and I cannot wait to watch as you all make your mark. Congratulations, class of 2020, and I wish you only the best of what life has to offer.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you to the class of 2020 for your compassion and endless support. This year, I was proud to see our classes develop such a strong bond with each other, a bond that was clear to every student at Wakefield High. We've had the pleasure of getting to know you all as leaders in our community, but most importantly, our friends. This class, the class of 2020, is unquestionably a special one. Since freshman year, you have been the role models my class has looked up to. However, I'm not sure that the idea of being looked up to completely encapsulates what you have done for us. The difference between this class and others was that the class of 2020 shared the spirit that they bring to each other on a daily basis with the entire school. The seniors created an environment that was so special for the rest of us. Walking down Sunshine Hall, you were always sure to see a senior waving, smiling, and radiating positivity. These graduates have been largely responsible for the loving and safe environment at this school. Never a time was there that we felt like we were being looked down on as underclassmen. Rather, the seniors this year welcomed my class, as well as others, with open arms and open minds. The friendships we've created broke the boundary between classes, and at times it felt like we had all grown up together. This class of seniors truly was the glue that bound the student body of Wakefield High together. Our main goal for next year is to try harnessing even half the light that this class has brought to our halls. From Spirit Week to the Red Sea to Powder Puff, as well as the many other events you've all taken part in, this class would always go all out. In my career as a Wakefield High student, I've never seen a senior class with so much spirit. The entire grade, regardless of individual friend groups, always came together as a united front to be there for their musicians, performers, artists, and athletes in this school, loud and clear. This is mostly because of the pure love and pride the class of 2020 has for their school and their town. It's a true inspiration and something I hope all of you keep wherever you go. This key unlocks the gate for the class of 2021 to make every inch of this school equally as loving and supportive. Inclusivity is important to our class. I might even suggest that we learned this from our seniors. With the kindness that they have shown to us, we're able to create more love and kindness for the people all over this school. With the lessons we have learned from the class of 2020, we will make sure that Wakefield High remains a safe haven for people coming from all different backgrounds and experiences in their lives. With only 1 year left for us, no voice will go unheard. Whether the terminology be passing the key or handing over the reins, the idea is still the same. With everything we have learned from this class, it is now our turn to maintain the fabric of Wakefield High School and become the new role models that eventually pass the job on to the next class. This key doesn't represent power, but responsibility, and we vow to stick by our responsibility of making every member of Wakefield High feel important and nurtured. For many of us, this is the town of our childhood, and this school is the birthplace of the new people we've grown up to be. We are so incredibly grateful to the senior class of 2020 for everything that you have done for us and for the relationships and memories that we will always hold dear. Good luck to everyone in the class of 2020. Remember, if you ever lose your way, we will still be here, walking in the footprints you left behind for us, to remind you of where you came from and the place that we call home. Congratulations, class of 2020. It has been a pleasure knowing you.
Next, I am honored to reveal the class of 2020's banner. This is a Wakefield High tradition in which a quote is picked that best represents the class. Hanging on the press box is a banner with a quote by Harriet Tubman, which reads, "You have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." This piece of artwork is on the cover of the graduation program you will take with you when you leave today, and forever remain in the halls of WMHS, adding to the many banners from the years that preceded us. We would like to recognize and honor the work of Taylor Phillips, who is with us today, who created this year's class banner.
And finally, we have the presentation of the diplomas. At this time, I would like to reintroduce the Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Doug Lyons, and School Committee Chairwoman, Mrs. Amy Purcell, to distribute the diplomas.
Here are the class of 2020 graduates. Joseph John Alden. Monica Dorothy Almeida. James Joseph Amioni. Antonio Nicholas Anastasiades. Isabella Marilyn Barrett. Quinn Francis Bayers. Simone Marie Beaver. Melanie Joy Benedetto. John Anthony Benoit. Joseph Anthony Bernarbio. Emily Christine Bishop. Luis Estuardo Blanco. Nadia Maria Bulal. Mason William Brennan. Alex Vladimir Santos. Noah Ryan Brennan. Margot Jinhong Bridge. Sophia Elizabeth Bruce. Liam Willis Bree. Ariana Sarah Buccelli. Dante Anthony Bucci. The next diploma will be presented by former school committee member Janine Cook. Madison Lorraine Loheed Burke. Jacob Edward Butler. Emma Elizabeth Cabral. Jonathan Hector Cabrera. Keiko Lucille Cadigan McCarran. Shannon Larson Callahan. Jack Brian Callahan. The next diploma will be presented by school committee member Chris Callanan. Kaylee Rose Callanan. Haley Ann Campaneski. J. Joseph Caples. Julia Lou Carino. Taj Sabir Muhammad Andrews. Charbel Christian Basile. Paige Haley Carlson. Keon Tamal Carney. Class Secretary Retta Catherine Carroll. Jillian Rebecca Casa. Julia Elizabeth Castellano. Olivia Grace Cataldo. Connor Holman Chan. Thomas James Chappett. Theodore Jackson Cheever. Kevin Joseph Clark. Cameron Joseph Coleman. Joshua John Collins. Patrick William Collins. Alexis Marie Camo. Rachel Elizabeth Cook. Madison Evelyn Cooley. Christopher Michael Coombs. Liam Kevin Cosgrove. Jalen Antonio Cosme. Abigail Rose Coughlin. Victoria Bell Crespo. James Robert Crump. Claire Marie Curry. Gianna Rosemary DeLeva. Inale Lajusea da Silva Baeza. Rachel Catherine Danzig. Kaylin Kelly Davies. Lillian Elizabeth DeFeo. Anthony Patrick DeVito. Sean Robert D. Giambattista. Hannah Lorraine Dixon. Alexandra Beth Dodo. Paige Morgan Dubé. Rowan Alexandra Dubé. Sophie Louise L. Scott Richard Elwell. Colby James Emerson. Daniel Nicholas Fairweather. Cameron Joseph Farrow. Abigail Clara Federici. Robert Jeremiah Feldman. Olivia Lyden Featherston. Abigail Marion Filtrante. Zachary Carmen Fiore. Kylie May Flanagan. Emily Flores. Annabella Grace Forziati. Robert Nicholas Fawcett. Natalia Ann Freight. Paul Robert Gagliardi. Vanessa Mia Gebhardt. Joshua John Gawk. Eli Noel Goslin Smosky. Sophia Joy Goslin Smosky. Carolyn Rose Gould-Faulkner. Noah Cruz Greif. Charles John Hagan. Russell Andrew Boyd Harder. Ian James Hartman. Craig William Hatfield. Jack Richard Hatfield. Erin Maeve Heffernan. Diego Pablo Hernandez Mendoza. Tyler James Herson.
Michael Edward Hickey. Kira Louisa Hoffman. Our class valedictorian, Basha Rose Halowenchek. Dylan Joseph Hosford. Kelly Ann Horahan. Jacob William Hubbard. Kylie Elizabeth Huckins. Pamela Marie Janellis. Tanner James Jellison. Brock Goodwin Johnson. Lillian Marie Jones. Christina Jasmina Joseph. John Michael Judge. Camilo Samir Kishore Patel. Robert Anthony Stack. Joshua Patrick White. Caitlin Elizabeth Kelly. Catherine Elizabeth Kerrigan. Effie Maria Katrubis.
Our class marshal, Emma Faith Lambiaso. Daniel John LaMonica. Megan Elise Laro. Jennifer Nicole Josephine Lorena. Aurora Sky Leal. Colin Matthew Leary. Simon Alexander Leary. Juliana Virginia Lamoy. Matthew Devin Lepke. Sophia Catherine Lucci. Hannah Grace Liu. Our class president, Olivia Jean Lucy. Nicole Marie Luongo. Andrew Joseph Lupian. Jacob William Hubbard. Daniel Xavier Lemieux.
Sean Marco Lynch. Aiden Hinlung McNevin. Ryan David Marcus. Sarah Elizabeth Margerison. The next diploma will be presented by school committee member Thomas Markham. Nora Ann Markham. Ashley Michelle Martin. Kyle Anthony Matos. Melidia Christeve McCall. Hunter James McDevitt. Stephen Francis McDonough. Emma Noel McElhaney. Braylon Kathleen McLaughlin. Rachel Lynn McNall. Alicia Marie McNamara. Sean Michael Marr. Student Council President Hope Patrice Melanson. Madeline Elaine Melanson. Sarah Jane Melanson. Tanya Alejandra Chinchilla Mendoza. Christopher Paul Miller. Rachel Mary Milliken. Adriana Agavani Manazian. Abigail Grace Mondello. Samantha Lisette Montoya Santizo. Molly Rachel Moselle. Abigail Elizabeth Murdoka. Zachary Thomas Murphy. Kristen Rose Murray. Marissa Elizabeth Murray. Class Treasurer Winifred Jacqueline Milan. Donella Nicole Nardone. Saoirse Abigail Nolan. Elizabeth Ann Nordine. Coleman Matthew O'Flaherty. Shane Patrick O'Neill. Megan Elizabeth O'Rourke. Ryan Kenneth Ober. Marissa Gabrielle Ogier. Eliana Race Ouellette. Heather Ray Owen. Taylor Marie Owen. Jack David Palmer. Class Salutatorian Mitra Jayesh Patel. Rushi Brijesh Patel. Class Vice President Catherine Judith Pearl. Anthony Joseph Pellegrino. Ryan Marshall Pescatore. Samanda Lisette Montoya Santizo. Nicholas Salvatore Peterson. Robert Matthew Petrino. Taylor Nicole Phillips. Wesley Richard Pierre. William Caria Pino. Alondra Sandra Ann Pons. Jamie Ryan Poole. Riley Elizabeth Porter. Class Salutatorian Emily Rose Pudva. Jordan Ann Pugsley. Sunny Punj. Jacob Andrew Ramo. Elias Ilya Rama. Brian Dennis Riley. Christian Joseph Reska. Shay Elizabeth Reynolds. Elise Arlene Rich. Amalia David Rizos. Sofia Rodriguez Ramos. Matthew Gillis Roberto. Luke Gregory Roberts. Stephen William Robinson. Nicole Marie Roos. David Harlan Root. Alexander Asa Ross. Sophia Fotino Rossaconi. Michael Patrick Racino. Andrew Russell. Cyrus David Ryan. Freddie Eduardo Sanchez. Jennifer Marie Sanchez. Nora Akiko Scadlin. Our class essayist, Anne Connor Skirmahorn. Alexa Lee DeAngelis. Sydney Elizabeth Sellers. Marika Elena Shively. Daniela Michelle Sennett. Lily Coleman Smith. Lucas Matthew Smith. Gino Tomasi Sorrentino. Cameron John Souza. Kaylee Marie Souza. Jake William Swarta. Dalton Richard Spillane. Kirsten Rianne Stewart. Kira Megan Strauss. John Joseph Summers. Cameron James Sweeney. Caitlin Rose Sweeney. Marissa Rose Swindell. Tiana Marie Swindell. Emily Grace Sabicki. Owen Dunham Tamburini. Giovanni Silva Texera. Julia Catherine Toby. Matthew Paul Toby. Josephine Olga Tonias. Alexis Ray Tulin. Kenny Mai Tran. Sophia Lita Treble. Drake Arthur Trepsis. Christian Alexander Turner. Samuel Rosario Valenti. Anthony Michael Vinciguerra. Matthew Levi Volkman. Anthony Paul Vozella. Brooke Kelly Wallace. Richard Dale Walters. Krista Rose Wastafaro. Corin Rose Whipke. Catherine Ruth Winnicky. Delaney Michelle White. Sarah Elizabeth Williams. Hannah Marie Zoll. Trevor Lee Zupan. Congratulations, you are official graduates of the Wakefield Memorial High School Class of 2020. You may now turn your tassels. Graduates and families will now be guided out of the stadium, one row at a time, starting with the first row and head down the ramp to either take photographs or return to their cars. Congratulations again.